We are getting ready to start algebra, so there are quite a few vocabulary words to list here. I believe there are 10. So I'm on page 11. I'm just picking up right after the word prefix. And the first word we need to define is power. Now, this is not electrical power. This is a mathematical power. Power is the value obtained by raising a base to an exponent. So, for example, if I take 3 to the third power, so this 3 is the base, and this 3 is the exponent. The answer is not 9. This is going to be 3 times 3 times 3. 3 3s are 9. 9 3s are 27. And that is the power. So the word that we're after here is power. So I would read that as, use this, 27 is the third. I told you I can't talk and write. Is the third power of 3. Power. The next word is root. A root is a factor that is multiplied by itself to reach a certain power. For example, let's take the one we did just above. The cube root of 27 is 3 because 3 times 3 times 3 is 27. Let me give you another one. Let's do the square root of 9 is 3 because 3 times 3 is 9. And let's do one more. Let's do the fourth root of 81 is 3 because 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 is 81. And the root that we're after is this. Root. The next word is exponents. An exponent is a small superscript we'll come back to that word, that tells how many times to multiply a base by itself. For example, 5 to the third power. The exponent is the 3. This is the exponent. 5 is called the base, and this means 5 times 5 times 5. The exponent tells me how many of those bases to write down, and then we multiply. And do you remember what this number is called? This number is the power. So base, exponent, and power go together. Let's talk just a second about that word superscript. Script is the root. That means written. If a doctor writes a prescription, it's a written thing. Script is handwriting, so written script. Super means above or over. So a superscript is a number or a figure that's written above something else, in this case, the base. And that is your exponent. Base is the next word. It is defined as the number being raised to a power. You can also call it the root. So for example, let me get a different color. This is all kind of running together. Let's do 9 to the second power. We know that that's 9 times 9, that's 81. So the base is the 9. It's the number that's being raised to a power. It can also be the square root of 81 is 9. So that 9 also becomes a base over here. So this is a root. This is a base. They basically mean the same thing for our purposes. The next word is inverse. Think of reverse. Inverse is the opposite of a mathematical operation. And if you have children, or when you remember being in school, you started this really in first grade when you started learning about fact families. For example, you probably learned in first grade that 4 plus 5 is 9. And then they turned around and said 9 minus 5 is 4. That's possible because addition and subtraction are inverses. They're opposites of each other. You probably learned in second grade or third grade that 6 times 8 is 48. And you also learned that 48 divided by 8 is 6. And that's possible because multiplication and division are inverses. You just learned another set of these up above when I told you that 9 to the second power is 81, and the square root of 81 is 9. Because squaring a number and taking the square root are inverses. I'm going to go ahead and throw this one in. It won't make much sense right now, but it will down the line. The tangent of theta has an inverse, so that theta is the inverse of tangent. That's another set of inverses. And again, right now it won't make sense, but it will down the line. So tangent and inverse tangent are inverses. So think opposite when you see inverse.